companies like Cadence and Synopsys. These are US multinationals. If you know hardware or Verilog language, those were invented inside Cadence. Prabhu Goel was one person who did that. And then I have been in this area which we call nonlinear signal processing, which is fashionably now AI. Everything is AI today. How many of you really want to work in AI or are already working in AI? And you could be from any discipline, not necessarily. Yeah. So there is a lot of interest, and a lot of people only want to work in machine learning today, but there are other disciplines which you need to know before you can really apply it well. And we have some very good people supporting us. So Sandeepan Banerjee, he was heading Siri, and Shrish Maharaj knows him. So we were batchmates at IIT Kanpur, Shrish Maharaj and Sandeepan Banerjee also. And Amita is at Tech. Arun Seth is a senior who was heading British Telecom chairman. Sudhir heads MasterCard AI division in US. It's called Brighterion. And Bipul and Arun also guide us. So and we have other people who supported us right through our journey. So Sonak, we have like 20 such engineers. I just put one in front of you, and they are the real brains behind some of the things I present. And he is a very, I would say, polite and taciturn, not talking too much, but which the professor had pointed out based on data, detect anomalies and reduce human errors, frauds. Actually, doctors will need these tools. Like radiologists commit a lot of mistakes, and they should be using such tools to commit and have less of those mistakes. And then it makes things human friendly and improves the ease of access of information. So you may have organized a lot of information hierarchically, but when a new person comes, it's not so easy to navigate it and to reach what he really wants. So some of these technologies make it very easy, because you can just ask, as you ask your teacher or your friend, and then it can bring you the relevant answer. So the power of that ease of access is huge, and now people are realizing it. It can also be very personalized to your way of learning or your way of doing things. So it kind of adapts to your needs. And then earlier, I come from the signal processing background. So we used to do a lot of features and find these features. There are MFCC coefficients. Today, some of these deep learning things, they evolve and they actually learn the pattern themselves. So some of these rule-based systems have been overridden by the new techniques, but a mix is required. So it's not that you don't need to know them, but you need to know that some of these patterns are learned now automatically, and that's part of the machine learning thing which is there. And then you can create novel and engaging digital experiences through generative AI. So this is what we kind of say, what we do. So this is the multimodal part, and I'll just give you. So text, traditionally we have been very much focused on text, but there is a lot of data which resides in voice, like we call each other, or we do a lot of things. Then there is image and video, and you can treat all of this data in the same manner eventually, once all of these technologies come together. Then so that is the multimodal part. And then these are like different channels. So you can have, phone is a voice channel, web is a multimodal channel. Like video conferencing is a very good example of a multimodal application, where without breaking your interaction, you can switch from your video to a slideshow to plain voice, and the interaction is not broken. So those are examples of multimodal interactions. And WhatsApp is a text and video channel, text and audio channel. Now video is coming in, SMS, Alexa. So all of these are just channels for us. what we do, we evolved over time. So earlier we used to say we transform digital journey. A lot of companies claim it, but we have come to this through a hard way. So we actually work for organizations which are not just companies now. So these are government and maybe other organizations. So now we work for their employees, partners, agents. So there are HR systems which need some of this AI capability. And there are chatbots, video bots, cloud telephony. So a lot of technologies come together to form a real life solution. So AI is one part of it. There's a lot of cloud technologies, some GPU things which come in to enhance and speed it up. So just to give you so conversational, most people understand intuitively, but just to say what conversational journey would mean. So a lot of websites and everything you see today, we call it, they're very cluttered. So the information is there, but it's not easy to find. So there's a lot of clutter, and then there are these pop-ups coming and ads coming. So this whole experience needs to be decluttered. And so there is a refined customer journey which can be done, which is engaging, faster, easier. There can be virtual product service advisors. There can be personalization and language. Like if you want to speak in Bengali or Bangla, you should be able to navigate every piece of information through your native language. So all of these technologies are actually coming together and making this possible. So that's like a conversational interface is very hard to beat. You can quickly narrow down your questions and reach the answer much faster. Even if it is hierarchically organized, the organized information is not easy to find. So that's the power which this brings. And this multimodal, so smell we don't know much about, but the other like eyes, your image, video, then listening, your speech. So there is a lot of technologies which are doing that for this. Smell is the least of the understood senses. So this is the multimodal part, and I'll just try to show you what this guy had, Mr. Pichai had to say on this. Just a very brief clip on what it is. Just very briefly so you can see. नहीं जा what happened? So the audio.
Products like Google Assistant, Search, and Workspace. Lambda is a huge step forward in natural conversation, but it is still trained only on text. When people communicate with each other, they do it across images, text, audio, and video. So we need to build models that allow people to naturally ask questions across different types of information. These are called multimodal models. For example, when you say, "Show me the part where the lion roars at sunset," we will get you to that exact moment in a video.
So these are like examples of what multimodal things would mean. Okay, so will I need this all the time? Okay, thank you. Okay, so these are some of the components which we work on. So on the text side, we have and the voice side, we have text to speech, multilingual speech recognition, natural language processing, including the LLMs. Then there are some voice capabilities, language translation capabilities, and then scaling it in a secure manner with some video, cloud telephony, and image recognition. And some of these models keep changing. So if you are working in this area, whatever you did like 1 year ago gets outdated very fast. So you have to kind of look at the latest ones and see what is the like better accuracy and these models. So it's a pretty interesting area that way because things are evolving here. So just to take one part of it and saying when people think about voice, they generally think just about the content, which is the speech to text. But voice has many different things. If you've gone to your nearest vendor, he has a Paytm soundbox. And what it does is it allows him to keep working and has a hands-free workflow. So he doesn't have to kind of look at his SMS and all. It's a very simple device. It's a text-to-speech of the payment you have done. So the voice allows you to do hands-free workflow. It can work from a distance. It can work in the native language of the user. It has your identity and security also inside. So when you talk, I know that this is Sonak talking. And you also have emotion and sentiments inside voice and also on the face. So all of these things today are now getting possible to combine and get a very true picture of what you're saying. Like when you talk to your mother and you say hello, she's able to say, oh, are you well today? Just from that one line. So the computer is not yet there, but those technologies are now coming where it will have some kind of an intelligence to understand that the person's sentiment or emotion is not right. And then in text to speech, there are research happening to add emotions into those speech. So today, some of these voices are not like, let's say I want to say this in a happy tone, then those things need to be added into the models. So I'll actually stop at these and some of these things will come here. I'll just show you a few demos and you can ask questions and either we will answer it quickly or we will defer and answer towards the end. So just to show you an example, I can show you what this one was. So this actually used LLMs with what we learned later that it has a term called retrieval augmented generation. This is just a term because LLMs have an issue of giving you confident wrong answers because they kind of generate most of the stuff. So sometimes they will give you things which look very plausible but are not actually true. So that has to be controlled. So that behavior needs to be controlled. And it has to come from the enterprise data, not from the whole world. So the Indian Parliament gave us a project where they wanted answers to be done from their data, not from the UK Parliament or from the US Parliament, all the questions and answers. And we just did a prototype and I'll just show you what it was. So you can. So if you have a question, you can ask now while I do this. I'll do a demo of, okay, I'll do a demo which is an Indian lion. This is a parliament demo. So I'm not political, but I'll just show you that. So that's, we call it audio video indexing. Hi, Prabhatji. Yeah. So I'll just show you. So what it does is, there are speeches done by the Prime Minister, and then they are like long speeches. So if you want to really get into where he said what, you can actually index it and do it. So let me see if audio you can do.
मैं उपस्थित हुआ हूं।
मोदी जी ने देश के विकास के मोदी जी ने देश के विकास के बारे में क्या कहा? नहीं आ रहा इसका, नहीं इसका, इसके माइक्रोफोन इज नॉट। मोदी जी ने देश के विकास के बारे में क्या कहा? मोदी जी ने देश के विकास के बारे में क्या कहा?
भारत आज दुनिया की बड़ी इकोनॉमी है, उसमें सबसे तेजी से विकसित हो रही बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था है। देश ने आदरणीय लता दीदी को खो दिया। इतने लंबे काल तक जिनकी आवाज ने देश को मोहित किया, देश को प्रेरित भी किया, देश को भावनाओं से भर दिया।
So these are just example of indexing into a video through audio. So you directly reach. So Parliament has these like from 1990 or somewhere they have lot of these videos. So they want कि अच्छा अटल बिहारी वाजपेयी ने पोखरण explosion के बाद क्या बोला Parliament. So you want to get exactly to that point in the speech where what he had said, not just the whole speech. So these are examples of indexing a video through audio. And then we will just show you the simple chatbot which happened. Yes, we pre-processed the video. Yes. And inside then we use LLMs on the text to reach to the exact point in the video.
But you want to anticipate questions, queries, right?
But that LLM thing gives you, and wherever it doesn't work, it can be retrained. It can be fine-tuned to answer. Sometimes it will get you more than one video, but it has a confidence score. So it will say, okay, this one is my best one, but there are other parts in the video where
It's a possible correlation, not the exact. Maybe 3-4 videos where it has a.
So actually the LLMs understand the meaning of your question, and then they actually get you to the exact place where that meaning has been said. So they don't need keyword matching or synonyms. They can actually understand the meaning. Like
You were saying it's more intelligent.
you can commit mistakes and it will still latch on to the same thing. So you can have an imperfect query and still it will take you to the right place. That's the power of these AI technologies. Yeah. Okay, so I can try to explain again. So these are, you have a video archive in the Parliament of India, which is there for last maybe 20 years or even more, 30 years. And then it's to be given, it's a public information. All the Parliament debates are out there. But if you want to know something about something very specific, then how do you get that data directly from the video? So your question means this can be done in Bengali also. I did it in Hindi, but you can ask the question in Bengali and the content could be in Hindi or English. So it will actually understand through speech to text, then it will translate it into the content like language, whether it's English or Hindi, get you that, and it can also translate back if you need it in text, and it can speak it out in Bengali also. So there are combination of lot of these technologies. Here I asked in Hindi and it returned me the exact point in the video where that content was. So it's a question you are asking not in text, but from the video is becoming interactive because this, he has talked for 2 hours. So you don't really want to go into all the details. So searching inside a video through an audio query is what this demo was about. So we call it audio video indexing, AVI bot, but it can have a better name and it can change language also. Yeah.
Database, right?
Yes, that is possible.
Maybe the searching part would be quite long.
Yeah. So all those get handled today with all of these new technologies. They get handled. So inside for the text part, we use the LLMs and all. Yeah. Yes. 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 So it will pinpoint and it will say, okay, this is the highest score, and then these are the other relevant videos which are there. So it has a confidence score for each of those answers. Okay. So I'll just jump to something else then. So this is the other demo, because I jumped to that AVI bot because that was related to that Sundar Pichai video I showed. So he was saying that these technologies will come. What happens with large companies is they announce ideas before they have done it. And now Google is lagging behind in some of these things with OpenAI and ChatGPT, but they announced the ideas in 2021-22, though they had not done it. So the ideas were very interesting, but they did not have the technology to back it up. But now there is a technology to back this up. So I'll just show you what this does. So this is like a controlled LLM in some sense. It will only answer from your content. So this is required by all enterprises. So one is what you see in the OpenAI ChatGPT world, where you ask any question and it gives you some answer. Those are for the direct to consumer, means everyone can do it. Then there are enterprises who have their own data. So they want the answers to come from their data. You may have even knowledge management systems where you want to have your previous experience being used in the similar situations. Like we are working with NTPC, so they need to know boiler like heated up, then last time what we did and how it was controlled. So that information is there in structured or unstructured form. And then from that experience, if you just ask a query, it should be able to get you those kinds of answers. So I'm just showing you. So we were given president's address, and basically that our test was this bot test. So this Kalyan bot. So they in the parliament they sat down and they asked all sorts of questions. I'll quickly show you one simple example of what it does. So its input is text or voice, and its output is also text or voice, but I'll just quickly show you what it does so you will get an idea of what is happening here. And this can run much faster. We have removed the GPU from it actually. So I asked what are the highlights of the Ayushman Bharat Yojana. So what it did is, this is the actual president's address. This runs into some 20 pages of PDF or something. And these are all public information. And then it basically narrowed down, so gave me a summary here. And it also pinpointed from where it had got the answer. So it basically references back to your, so it's kind of trustworthy way of saying where it got the answers from. And you can also play it if you want.
The Ayushman Bharat Yojana is a nationwide scheme launched to help the poor deal with the financial burden of illness. Under the scheme,
okay, so you got the idea of, and there are simple, and then this can be done in English and Hindi. Parliament today works in English and Hindi, but it wants to work in all other languages. So it's looking for technologies so that the other languages are also supported. So you can just turn this into Hindi, and then this bot is supposed to start answering questions in Hindi, and we have to be always reference to the actual data. So because typing Hindi is difficult, so I'll do it here. श्रीमती स्मृति ईरानी जी का निर्वाचन क्षेत्र. So this is built according to their specification. So we can actually do anything different also.
श्रीमती स्मृति जुबिन ईरानी उत्तर प्रदेश के अमेठी क्षेत्र से लोकसभा सदस्य हैं। वह भारतीय जनता पार्टी भाजपा की सदस्य हैं। अधिक जानकारी के लिए कृपया लिंक पर क्लिक करें।
So these are the exact Sansad websites from where this information has been taken. So we don't get to Wikipedia or anything. This is the official site from where this information is taken in Hindi and English. It's coming up. So I'll just go back to so I just showed you 2 demos. I can show you 1 or 2 more, and then we can, and if you have any questions, yes, please. No. तो आप मुझसे कंपनी सीक्रेट पूछो, but I'll tell you. So what is happening is we strip out the audio, then we convert to speech to text, and then we run LLMs inside to get the exact meaning point, and we have the time instance marked when we do speech to text. So we know where that text was spoken. So as soon as you say we match it with text, we know the time instant, then we are able to play the video back from that instant. No. So the LLMs don't do key value. Your question is understood and it is matched with meaning from the text. But from there I get the time instant in the video, which I can show as a result. Timestamps are pre-processed, as Sir had asked. So we know what was spoken when. That part we know. When we do speech to text of the audio part, we know exactly the time instance where each phoneme was spoken. Actually, we have very detailed information from the speech to text engine. Yeah.
Is it like fine-tuned for this kind of special data?
Yeah, so this can be fine-tuned for any, so it's a fine-tuned LLM model with some retrieval augmented. I'll just show it to you. So it's just a layer above that. Yes, so I'll just show it to you what we are doing. So the technical details I'll just share. So we'll quickly rush through this. So I'll just, in case you did not get what the demo was saying, I can. Yeah, so this bot had many different aspects. So it was humanized. You can ask complex queries also. You can ask the way you are used to. It has better language support. It has voice input and output. It is automatic dynamic content updates, meaning if today new content is updated, it automatically picks it up, so the answer might change. So if you ask the same question and something new has been shown, that will be given higher priority, which is more recent. And it basically creates a layer over structured and unstructured data. It can be in your database, it can be in your PDF documents, it can be in your like Word documents, whatever. And then you ask a question, you don't care where that answer is. So the system, in case of a structured database, it actually generates the query for the database and then gets the answer from there. And it's customizable, affordable, because many of these models are very costly if you don't know that. And then image and videos can also be part of the answers. And yeah, so those are the things. This I already showed to you, so I can skip. So these are some of the issues which are known. Stop AI hallucinations, get latest info, get trustworthy answers, get data from which is structured also. So today, the technology is such that the unstructured data gets processed more easily than the structured data, by these. So, but you need to do that. Yeah. Yes.
That this is expensive.
Ah.
So are you using the engage for the existing models or have you your own compute facilities?
Yeah, so we have now built to reduce the cost. We have to build, and so for ONGC, we actually did a solution for their employees and ex-employees where everything is in-house without the internet. Yes, yes, yeah. So they bought the GPUs. So, but you get it. So we actually wrote to NVIDIA and they shipped it to us. So that's why it's fine. Once they know that you are a serious worker, you get it. So some of these are like 40 billion parameters, but he knows he can actually do it with less, even less actually. Some of them when we started, they were very high, 170, 180 billion parameters. So those were not required for some of the problems. Actually, that's one of the new areas where we try to prune it down and still be as accurate. Maybe sacrifice 0.01% of accuracy, but the model size should be lower. Yeah. So, yeah. So that's the fine tuning of that. Yeah. And then the language part, as I said, and then adding voice on top of it. So this is what I was saying about making a layer over structured and unstructured data. So you can have unstructured text, which are PDF, PPT. PDF also comes in two different things. One where the text can be easily taken out. The other where it's actually an image. So then you need the OCR technology to convert image to text and then feed it to the engine. So there are challenges inside your PDF documents itself. And then it could be Excel, Word, it could be live web content, so web pages are also done. CMS is basically the live content management system. We integrate with it so that any data which goes there incrementally, we can pull it and the answers can change. And then the main thing we add in terms of this multimodal thing is that this is all about text, but if you had data in audio and video, this should eventually work as a layer over all kinds of data. So your answer could be part from text, part from a video where this was spoken, or part from the audio. So you get the combined information at one place. And when Sonak worked on it, we didn't know it had this name, retrieval augmented generation, but later someone came and told us that what you are doing is called retrieval augmented generation. So, but now we have started looking into the literature, what more can be done, because people have researched into it. So these are kind of solving the problems which LLMs have in an enterprise context. So the query is embedded. So these embeddings are really nice. Those are the things which give you the meaning context. So when you say heart doctor, this model knows that this is the same as cardiologist. So it doesn't have to be trained or anything. It basically brings the things which are close in meanings together. And so whenever you ask a query, it is able to map that query into the right dimension and space in the meaning space. And then it's able to do that. So that's the power of these. So you get more than one answers, and then you combine it through LLM to generate a combined answer. And that's one part of the retrieval augmented generation. And then this ensures that you don't get an answer from the whole world. You actually get it from your own content. So that is there. This Sanjay, actually I learned from him. So there are, when we look at databases, we are called into these large organizations and they say, ab isko aap AI enable kar do. So ab AI enable, when we look at that, most of the time the databases themselves are pretty badly done. Not that relational could not have done it. They are not designed properly. So you are asking queries and then there are multiple joins happening. So that whole thing is a mess. So if you are becoming a real programmer, please learn to have some amount of aesthetics in your design and in your data tables if you are designing it. And this has actually progressed. So there were these MongoDB. So we ended up using all of these. And these graph databases are interesting in some parts, like if you really want to do fraud detection or you want to do some recommendation systems, and we are just kind of getting into where it can be done. It is very fast also, and it can be distributed over time. So if you are working in databases, I would say please look at all of the three together and not leave one or the other, and then do it. I was given a challenge in the last presentation I did at Rajesh Khanna was the dean at IIT Delhi. So he said, you put all LLMs in one, all the maths in one slide. So I have tried to do that. If you don't know LLMs from the math side, there is not very high level maths involved there actually. So if, we actually joke about it. So when we say deep learning, it is not really deep in any sense except the structural sense. So we actually don't understand why these models work very well. And I was talking to that there are some results in functional analysis, if there are maths people here, which say that these functions can be approximated by these nonlinearities. But these are not sufficient to say why they converge so fast, how is the dimensionality reduced so that your training data set is suddenly capable of answering all kinds of questions. But just to see what LLMs are, those are pretty easy to understand. So you just need to know your basic 12th standard plus some BSc maths. Functions of large number of variables you should be comfortable with. Nonlinear functions, minimize loss function, gradient descent is a computational method. Partial differentiation you should know, because a composition of functions you should know, because each layer is a different function. So F, O, G, O, H, you can say. Chain rule you should know. Probability distribution, people actually we have been taught so well about that relative frequency approach, so that it's very hard to get into something which is at the base of math. So there are functions and there are what is called a set function. This is basically a measure concepts. You map a set to a real number, which is 0 to 1. And that's I would say the modern definition of it as a measure theoretic approach. You don't need to know too much about it, but if you know it, your intuition will not go wrong. So you will understand what is really happening. And then there is some concepts of entropy and information, which as an electrical engineer I really like very much. So those are needed. And there is one place which is slightly higher maths, but I would encourage you to learn about how invariant densities come from just the nonlinearity which is there. It's called maps and invariant densities, but that's optional. Yes, sure, you can. And then language model, it turns out, is a probability distribution over sequence of words or tokens. In the ChatGPT case, it's basically less than a word, because you can form words by adding ly and other things. So it's a token. And then given any sequence of words of tokens, a language model assigns a probability to the whole sequence, and large language model computes these probabilities through transformer models. Transformers, the first paper was done by an Indian. His name is Dr. Ashish Vaswani, and you will not hear about him. You will feel as if everything is done by Sam Altman, but it's not the case. The transformer models were done by Google, and Dr. Ashish Vaswani and a lot of other researchers together published a paper which is called Attention is All You Need. And what they ended up doing is that they basically simplified the RNNs and LSTMs and these encoder decoder, which are feed forward models, and it actually helped train very large models. So that was a very significant achievement in 2017, that very large models suddenly became possible. So ChatGPT and all are possible today because that 2017 paper happened. Otherwise, people were using models which had problems of vanishing gradients, and so large models were not able to train. And then their properties can do multiple NLP tasks. So that is one of the main things. It's not do all, everything is not done by LLM or GPT, if you think that. But yes, it combines 5 different kinds of models into one. So you can do question answer, language translation. Earlier we had different models for these. Sentence generation with reasonable accuracy. But it suffers from what is called AI hallucination, which we try to stop through that RAG scheme. So it can give you confident wrong answers. So you have to be very careful when you use it. Don't assume everything is right. And it can do some desired work, that's called prompts engineering or whatever, with very little, it's called few shots learning. Means you just say, okay, given this kind of input, I want this kind of output. So it's able to understand with just 2-3 examples, and then you can actually start asking it questions and it will be able to do. So these are the real benefits you have, but it is not close to AGI or anything. All those are hype and you should stay away from the hype actually. So we basically ended up doing these kinds of humanized, multi-channel, multilingual, so this is a platform on which we churn out all these virtual assistants and other kinds, and we keep adding some new features here. So different kinds of information knowledge sources, and lately we added an analytics and visualization engine also, which can be AI enabled. This is an example. Times of India building in Bahadur Shah Zafar Marg burned down a few years ago. And we got a call. They said ki our new building is opening and we want to show off or showcase some modern technology. Why don't you give us an AI receptionist? So I don't know what they really wanted, but we went and we have given them a proposal. Now what happens, I don't know, whether they were just asking and they will do it. But this is an example. Just very quickly we put together this video, and this is really what it does is it's basically text to speech with some lip syncing happening here. And those are now known. A lot of deep fakes are built using this technology. We actually use it for good purpose. So that's the part you have to keep your ethics intact when you do some of these things. We did voice cloning as our first product. So I can change my voice into Amitabh Bachchan's voice. But that technology I could not sell because it started having more wrong use cases than the right use cases. So we have that IP with us, but we have not really monetized it a lot. But we can use it for some of these things, and I'll show you some examples also. So this is you can show it here. It's very, very simple. It will actually two-way.
Welcome to the Times of India. Hello, I am Kavya, an AI receptionist. How can I help you? Whom would you like to meet? Can you please fill in your personal details for issuing a visitor's pass?
So there are many different use cases for an AI receptionist. I don't know whether they have a real use case. They have a real use case somewhere, but this is also to kind of showcase that we are a very modern like a company. But Times of India is a nice place. We actually visited their site. We saw where these could be put up, and we'll see whether it really becomes a reality. But the technologies it is using is an extension of what we did for a text-to-speech. So the way you have phonemes, you know it because he's working in text-to-speech. So there are something called vizines. They actually happen to be fewer. So our mouth opens in just 14 different ways for some like 30 or 50 phonemes. So you can actually do a lip syncing and then create these kinds of technologies.
Welcome to the time.
Okay. So I'll quickly rush through this then. I'll now run through some other demos which will, and maybe I'll ask you questions so you tell me what technology has been. These are some of our customers which you can see. So we have a long time ago, like 6-7 years ago, we actually did this with Horlicks. This was a marketing campaign, but it was pretty state of the art. It remains state of the art, but I'll just show you a video they made to popularize it. I think I have. Can we? क्या ये कैसे जाएगा? It's not changed.
Stopping the presentation. Ending the presentation.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can escape. Yeah.
एक मिनट.
Mothers are warriors by default. For example, in today's world, even preparing a child's tiffin is fraught with anxiety, and rightly so.
The micronutrient deficiencies like that of iron, vitamin A, vitamin D, which are quite common in India, even in affluent sections of the society. And there is no simple way to assess the quantity of micronutrients.
But surely, with all the technological advancements, there must be a way to address a mother's worries. Introducing Nutrimeter, an app which turns smartphones into nutritionists by just taking food snaps. Beneath its simple interface lies an image recognition technology known as deep convolutional neural networks, or CNNs.
Our brain processes and I was younger then. And constant exposure to the same object and creates a neural database, which then becomes the long-term memory. This is exactly how CNNs also work. CNNs have an algorithm at the back where every food item clicked is stored in the database of the long-term memory. The database purifies shape, color, size, and stores. As we keep adding more snaps of the same food item, it automatically starts recognizing it.
Nutrimeter comes equipped with nutrient values of thousands of food items and recipes. Little wonder, Nutrimeter can suggest what foods to add to a child's diet to ensure a balanced, micronutrient-rich diet. That's a big win for mothers. The Nutrimeter app turns your smartphone into a nutritionist with a snap.
So there are countless applications. I'm running short of time. I'll just rush through the remaining, and I'll end with a music demo, which gets me the maximum claps actually. Just a minute. ये कहाँ से आ रहा? Where? No. Okay. ये नहीं हो रहा? क्या? It's not presuming. No. नहीं. कैसे होगा?
I think there is some disease.
हाँ. Okay. ये नहीं आ रहा. Anyway, so this is not happening. अच्छा, okay. Yeah, so anyway, we work with some car companies and we are working with the government of India, 40 lakh central government employees, including some of these gentlemen. Eventually they will be there. So these are AI enablement for EHRMS. There are a lot of information. So I'm surprised at how much information is there. This is a real database. It has information about all of these things: leave management, reimbursements, loans, advances, vigilance status, resignation, promotion. And there are a lot of questions people have, like cadre controlling authorities and all. So there is a site being made now, and we are just helping them with some of these parts. It's actually being done by NEGD, but we were called to provide the AI layer. So there is a tremendous amount of things you can do with this data. Like if you have a deputation, then who are the right top five skilled people who are matching with experience. So those all can be done from here. I'm kind of winding it up now. So just to say when I asked Shreyas and the rest of the team, they said we want to know a lot of generative AI applications. So I didn't say generative at many places. I just said conversational multimodal. But I'll tell you some of the hype and reality which we realize. So I asked this tool itself to write me a humorous limerick on the hype surrounding generative AI. So you can see what it is written. I'll show you, I don't know whether this is true or not, but this is kind of, so this is a humorous thing, but it can happen with these models and it can be corrected also. So the thing is, yes, we can laugh at technology that, oh, it went wrong, but yes, it has the chance of going wrong. And then it raises very serious ethical issues about biases and fairness, how training data was done, as if all poor people come from Africa, and it has misunderstood fighting against poverty. So all the models, I'm sure, can be fixed to do that. But there will be some other place where it cannot be trusted anymore. So you have to be very careful about some of these ethics part of things when you do it. As I said, deep fakes, armed drones, all of these are applications of AI, but I would rather stay away from those applications if I were really working deeply in this area. No, so this is wrong training or whatever. Means this can be fixed from the technology side. Huh? So it has that problem. Either it will kind of manufacture something which is apparently incorrect, or it will not give you an answer where it can. And that is the inherent in these models. So people are thinking we'll do some magic and it will disappear. It will not disappear. So it will remain. But for your context, you can solve that problem. But these models have that issues. And similarly, so Gen AI applications, there are plenty of them. I'll just note which we have come across. Natural language translation, you should start looking at an LLM for Sanskrit, and it might give you some very good insights. You can complete a shlok, you can write some new shlok and see whether it makes sense. So you have to actually see what it is doing. And for Indic language, drug discovery and material science, molecular structures with desired property, video, text, audio, music, image content generation, speech synthesis and voice cloning. There is an area we have people from the ad world who come to us and say, can you make an AI influencer on social media? So, and there are some very popular AI influencers who are not real people, but there is a whole team working to give them that kind of persona. That I live in Belur Math, I am this kind of, and you can have a following of 1 million human beings for that AI influencer. Huh? And then you can do some data augmentation. It's not fashionable, but a lot of time you don't have enough data. So some of these things actually can help you augment your data in the right sense. And then we get called in for decision support system, AI for defense, AI-driven knowledge management, conversational commerce, and there are lots of applications and use cases across domains, different government, customer care, BFSI, market research, I'll actually end with something we stopped doing, but we really like this a lot. This is a very separate problem, which used to be a very hard problem. It is called source separation, or the cocktail party problem, meaning when multiple people are talking in a party, or jokingly people say, if you are mixed up in a cocktail, can you figure out what it was made of? So this is a hard, challenging problem, but today it does get solved reasonably well. So we applied it to music, and you will see the effect it creates. And So this is basically my employee Akarsh, who was an IITD graduate and very interested in singing. He's singing along Kishore Kumar himself, and he's actually singing along means there is a chorus they have created together, and the music is completely new. So the song is set to new music, which is an cover version which was done by an artist called Sanam, but the voices are from my employee and Kishore Kumar singing that song. So let's see if we can quickly play it, and then I'll end this. It's actually something which, yeah, no, एक second. I'll just play this.
मेरे महबूब कयामत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरी नजरें तो खिला करती है तेरे दिल को भी सनम तुझसे शिकायत होगी मेरे महबूब तेरी गली में आता सनम नगमा वफा का गाता सनम तुझसे सुनाना चाहता सनम मैं दीवाना हूँ बस आज ये बहशत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गली
Together, because your heart desire to sing with the original singer.
मेरे महबूब कयामत होगी आज रुसवा तेरी गलियों में मोहब्बत होगी मेरे महबूब
So if you have a different music. So just to explain maybe, so we took the original song, took out the Kishore Kumar's voice separately. Then we took out the new cover version, which is done by Sanam Puri. We took out his voice was thrown away, but his music was kept. And then we mixed, and our employee actually sang along. So some lines he sings, then Kishore Kumar sings, and then they sing together. So you can actually sing a duet with Lata Mangeshkar if you're a good singer with some of these technologies directly. Even if like people who are not alive, you can actually sing with them. So that was pretty much, I'll just roll this out. Summary, we have done it. AI and ethics, we have done, yeah. Okay, thank you. Thanks. If you have any questions, I am available here.
Any questions?
Even after this, I am available. Yeah.
Questions?
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I'm Doipan Roy. Sir, I have one question. Like, how can I use AI to solve the rural problems in India? Suppose we in rural India we have that lack of nutrients in children's food. So can we use the Nutrimeter app like this? Instead of working for big companies, can we make it public and use for them? and make it free?
Yes, we can do it. We'll be very happy to do that. Actually, I started in that domain, but then government is one party. Then these NGOs come, which I can say this, who are not really good at heart. There are NGOs who work in this area. We were kind of being forced to work with them, but they would never improve their food quality, which they are. Stop working. This is available if you want to take it forward. We'll be very happy to give you all the APIs and you can make a better model or even a complete solution.
I think, sir, there are many problems which we can see, like education and food related. So we can use the AI to solve these things.
Definitely. You can take the lead. Yeah, no, but yes, it is possible. Yes.
Now, we want to take only 2 or 3 questions because food time is also there. So let us finish this question and answer the session. As soon as, yes, we'll take 2-3 questions and after that we'll.
Food also I can answer the question. Yes.
Sir, actually, I am a student here, and you mentioned something about the paper by Vaswani, and so I am also working in a similar project, and I am working on the transformer Hawks process. Now, what I have experienced is that there are some probability distributions, intensity functions, estimating likelihoods. Now, generally, we cannot find exact solutions. We have to approximate the solution using numerical techniques. My question is, there are so many parameters, like in the transformer models and RNNs. Now, estimate at my level, I have found estimating those parameters a bit difficult and time consuming. So is it the same story for the bigger picture, that computation and estimation of the parameters using optimization techniques?
Yeah, so it is the same for us also. So you are not facing an unnatural problem. So actually getting things to converge with high accuracy beyond a certain point is lot of effort. Means you may be able to get up to 70% very easily and you may think that I have solved the problem. But going from 70 to 90 is much harder than it appears from the outside. Yes, that's it. So it is what we call the nature of the beast. So if you want to tame the beast, you have to put those hours inside. Yes. Mike, can give the mic. Yeah.
There was very noble intention expressed by your participants in the back regarding use of AI or code. So a lot of things are being done in that front. Open source. It's not coordinated. Like there is no NGO or somebody who's going to benefit from that. It's all free. People are doing it. So, for example, you mentioned about nutrition. There are people who are working on water tables and trying to solve the problem. The water crisis is probably one of the biggest emerging crises in the world, the whole world. So, things like that. So, just to answer your question, a very simple answer. Look for something called datameet at googlegroups.com. It's a Google group. Datameet at Google. I'm also a member of that. So, there are a lot of individuals. None of them have any agenda. So they share data, they share shape files, they share algorithms, and they try to come up with real solutions to real problems. Datameet at googlegroups.com.
Thank you.
We can take one more question. Anyone?
One lady's question.
Yeah.
If there is nobody, then I'll ask question.
No, your question is not counted. Okay.
I have a total confusion about too many monks are giving lecture on the YouTube, So one question, several answers are coming. Okay, on Hindu system. Do you have anybody is developing any system to answer such queries on the Hindu system or religion?
So if I look at it from the language model's point of view, you will have to refine your query that I need Vedanta from Swami Sarvapriya Anand. Then it will actually latch on to
But
that.
it is very much context sensitive.
Yes, beyond a certain point. Beyond.
That is a secular answer.
So, but yes, if you have like too much of that rating and weight, like that confidence score will go down. Yeah, it will not understand which one to pick. See? Huh? Huh? If you actually develop it over the Upanishads, then that might be a very good.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay,
way of-
just because too many confusion is there if you
Yeah.
read through it. Okay.
Yes. See, I had a professor in IIT Kanpur who used to say that I don't publish papers because I have nothing to say. So I have like one paper in 3 years when I have something to say. So yes, 3 years or 5 years, people just say it without having real insights. So that's it. And then they get likes and million views. So.
Any more questions?
But I am available for more questions outside. Yeah, after lunch.
Excuse
yes,
me,
please, yes.
Sir, you mentioned the nutrimeter,
Mhm.
and you mentioned the way it takes information is the size, color, and the prerequisite that a nutritional food looks like. But sir, there could be a difference, maybe a nutritious food that is like modern made. It is very unconventional looking. Then how does the technology identifies it?
No, so it will go wrong. So the way this app was designed, let's say you are having a lassi. So the image cannot tell you whether it is a sweet lassi or a salt lassi, and the micronutrients will change. So it actually used to give you a pop-up that I recognize it's a lassi. Can you identify whether I'm going to mark it as a sweet lassi? But if it is salted, then there was a user input. So things which are not recognizable by human eye, this technology will also not recognize it because that's like a chemical thing inside. And it also gets the quantity. So it's an approximate thing, but more and more you work on it, it will actually become more accurate.
So you are looking forward to develop it further.
Yes, but that question may never get answered because things which a human eye cannot distinguish, this technology will also not be able to distinguish.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. अच्छा मैं एक और दिखाऊं.
Thank you, sir. Thus we come to an end of such a beautiful seminar. I would like to extend a heartfelt thanks to our esteemed speaker, Mr. Sandeep Kumar. Your willingness to share your knowledge and experiences has enriched our understanding and inspired us to new heights. Your presentation was not only informative but also engaging, captivating us from start to finish. On behalf of everyone present here today, I want to express our deepest gratitude for your time and presence.
So did you write this or did ChatGPT write this?
So it's a collaborative effort.
Thank you. I could see the ChatGPT inside.
Before we move on to the lunch break, I want to acknowledge the presence of a very special guest here. We are grateful that we are grateful to have among us Mr. Prabhat Kumar Mishra, an honorary IAS officer of the West Bengal government. We are thankful for his time. And now I would like to request Swami Shashtavidyanandaji Maharaj to please felicitate our esteemed guest.